How would it feel to walk among criminals, wearing a mask so convincing that even you start to believe it? And yet, this was the reality for Joseph Pistone, an undercover FBI agent who became known as Donnie Brasco. His mission was dangerous and ambitious: to infiltrate the Mafia, a shadowy world filled with crime, drugs, and violence. But why would anyone want to put themselves in such a perilous situation? What drives a person to embrace danger so fully? Join us as we discuss the story of Donnie Brasco, the undercover cop who fooled the mob. The Mafia was not just a group of criminals. They were a powerful network with deep roots in American society during the 1970s. They controlled everything from illegal gambling to drug trafficking, and even legitimate businesses, exerting influence over politicians and law enforcement alike. The FBI recognized that conventional methods of surveillance and investigation were not enough to dismantle this criminal empire. To penetrate the Mafia's inner circle, they needed someone willing to take such risks. Joseph Pistone volunteered for this harrowing mission, fully aware that he would be going into a world where betrayal could lead to death. He took on the alias Donnie Brasco, a name that would become synonymous with undercover work and the relentless fight against organized crime. Joseph believed deeply in the importance of this mission. The Mafia's influence was far-reaching, and their activities caused untold suffering to countless individuals. By infiltrating their ranks, he hoped to gather evidence that could lead to significant arrests and prosecutions. It wasn't just about catching criminals, it was about making the streets safer for ordinary citizens. Joseph's journey into the underbelly of organized crime began with the acceptance of a new identity that would consume his life for the next 6 years. He had to abandon his real name, family, and friends, stepping into a world where trust was scarce and deception was the norm. This was not merely a job, it was commitment to a cause that could cost him everything, including his life. The choice to become Donnie Brasco came after extensive discussions with his superiors and meticulous planning. Joseph knew he had to shed his old life completely. This meant not only adopting a new name, but also embracing the habits, speech, and lifestyle of a jewel thief, someone who could easily fit in with the criminal elite. The FBI provided him with a new persona that included a fabricated background, complete with stories that could withstand scrutiny. Joseph's transformation was not just about a name change, it was about creating a believable backstory. He had to think like a criminal, act like a criminal, and most importantly, earn the trust of dangerous mobsters who would not hesitate to kill if they suspected he was an informant. The training was rigorous and intense, focusing on every detail of the criminal lifestyle. Joseph had to learn how to carry himself with confidence, display an air of bravado, and navigate the treacherous social dynamics of the Mafia world. But appearance was only part of the facade. Joseph studied the intricacies of Mafia culture, immersing himself in their language, behaviors, and social dynamics. He learned to live in their world with ease, picking up slang and expressions that were crucial for building rapport with mobsters. Words like capo, a boss, soldier, a low-level member, and made man, a fully initiated member of the Mafia, became part of his daily vocabulary. He practiced his accent and gestures, transforming himself into a credible criminal. As Donnie Brasco, Joseph Pistone quickly learned that the Mafia operated under strict rules centered around loyalty, respect, and fear. To prove his worth, he had to engage in criminal activities, starting with small tasks like stealing jewelry, participating in petty scams. As he gained the mob's trust, the jobs became more dangerous and complicated. This put Donnie in moral dilemmas, as he had to balance his undercover mission with the friendships he was forming, especially with a seasoned mobster named Lefty Ruggiero. Lefty became a mentor to Donnie, teaching him about the Mafia's inner workings and sharing stories about his life and aspirations. Their bond grew into a friendship based on trust, making Donnie feel torn between his duty to gather evidence against the Mafia and his growing affection for Lefty, who dreamed of becoming a full member of the organization. This deepening connection made Donnie's mission increasingly complex as he navigated the world of crime and camaraderie. However, as their friendship deepened, Donnie faced a moral quandary. The more he learned about Lefty's life, the more he sympathized with him. Lefty was not just a criminal, he was a human being with dreams, aspirations, and vulnerabilities. As Donnie settled into his role as a mob associate, the FBI began to see the fruits of his labor. He collected an abundance of information about criminal activities, including drug trafficking, loan sharking, and various schemes that had become staples of the Mafia's operations. His reports provided the FBI a clearer understanding of the Mafia's structure and methods, allowing them to strategize more effectively. However, the deeper Donnie went into the Mafia world, the more perilous his situation became. With each passing day, he risked exposure, and he could sense the growing tension among the mobsters. The stakes were raised when the FBI learned about a potential hit on a rival mobster, which would set off a chain of events that could destroy everything Donnie had worked for. The prospect of violence loomed large, and Donnie knew that he had to act quickly to prevent bloodshed, and protect not only himself, but also those around him. Donnie's moral compass was tested more than ever. He had built a life among these criminals, earning their trust and affection, especially from Lefty. But at the same time, he was gathering evidence that could lead to their arrests. Could he betray the very people who had come to see him as one of their own? The conflict within him grew as he wrestled with the duality of his existence. Donnie made the decision to inform the FBI about the impending hit. He provided them with crucial details, including the location and timing of the planned attack. The FBI was grateful for the intel, but this act would have significant repercussions. He was playing with fire, and the Mafia had a way of exacting revenge on those who crossed them, especially someone they considered family. As the FBI began to catch important members of the Mafia, everything around Donnie started to change. Tension filled the air. His close friend Lefty, who had trusted Donnie completely, was now in serious trouble because of the FBI's actions. The Mafia was falling apart, and everyone started to turn against each other. It was like a storm of suspicion blowing through the criminal world. Donnie's heart raced as he watched the chaos unfold. He had to pretend that everything was fine, but inside he felt scared. It was like a balloon about to pop, knowing that danger was everywhere. Every conversation felt tense, every look felt dangerous, and every choice he made could lead to someone being betrayed. The big moment came when Lefty began to suspect that Donnie might be a cop. In a very tense meeting, Lefty asked Donnie straight out if he was a police officer. How could Donnie defend a lie that had become his whole life? In that moment, Donnie felt crushed under the weight of his secret. He knew that telling the truth could hurt both of them badly. Faced with the idea of losing Lefty, Donnie chose to lie. He told Lefty he was loyal, hiding the truth. This decision was hard because Donnie had become close to these people. He didn't want to betray their trust, but deep down he knew the truth would eventually come out, and it would hurt everyone involved. As the FBI made their arrests, the Mafia world erupted in chaos. Donnie felt a mix of fear and urgency as he got updates from his FBI team, who told him to prepare for what was coming next. The arrests were swift and the fallout was brutal. Trust vanished like smoke, and mobsters turned on each other in a quest for revenge. After the waves of arrest, Donnie found himself in a really tough spot. He was still undercover, but things were getting dangerous. He had to make a choice. Should he stay and face the consequences, or should he run away and leave everything behind? What would you do in such a scary situation? As the FBI began to close in on the rest of the Mafia members, Donnie felt the pressure building. His heart raced, and he knew the situation was becoming more serious. He had learned a lot while undercover, but it came at a big cost. He had built real friendships with people who had shared their lives and dreams with him. The thoughts of leaving them behind was almost unbearable. During an important meeting with his FBI team, Donnie received a tough ultimatum. They could get him out, but he would have to leave behind everything that he had worked for as Donnie Brasco. This decision weighed heavily on him. Could he walk away from the friends he had made, especially Lefty? How could he abandon people who saw him as family? This question haunted him. In the end, Donnie made the hard choice to leave the operation. It broke his heart because he knew he would have to leave Lefty and others to face the consequences of the FBI's actions. He'd spent years of his life on this mission, only to realize he had to walk away from it. Before he left, Donnie had one last meeting with Lefty. It was a sad goodbye, knowing that Lefty would likely face serious trouble for trusting him. Donnie's betrayal was hard to accept, but Lefty understood that he was just a pawn in a dangerous game. For Joseph Pistone, going back to normal life wasn't easy. He had to learn how to fit back into society after living as Donnie Brasco. The emotional scars from his experience ran deep, and he often thought about the friends he had made. Joseph Pistone not only helped bring down a powerful crime group, but also opened our eyes to the human cost of crime and the challenges faced by those who fight against it. What would you do if you were in Joseph's shoes? Let us know in the comments down below. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.